Hi, welcome to another episode of Talking Metaverse, presented by Immersal. I'm here now with Luca Lupatteli.
Perfect.
Ciao, Luca.
Ciao, Dan. Ciao, Dan.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very, very happy to be here with you.
And tell me, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in Zug in the office. So, yeah.
Zug,
Yep.
Switzerland.
Yep. I'm in Switzerland at the moment.
Yes, one of the hotspots of crypto,
Oh,
one might
yes.
say.
Oh, yes. It's like, I would say maybe 500 meters from here, there is the Crypto Valley. So,
I really like the fact that I think is it on your LinkedIn you describe yourself as a metaverse explorer.
correct. Yes. Yes. And let me tell you a fun fact regarding to that headline that I have on LinkedIn. I was in Rome and I was with some friends, and we were really talking about NFTs. We were talking about, and I remember that it was a day where I was really wondering to mint an NFT, and I was there in queue with the community, waiting for it. And I was with this friend. I say, look, I'm spending so much time into this Web3 learning stuff around it, and I had to do something on my LinkedIn profile in order to to recognize myself with it, in order to even to jump into
To make a
to make
commitment.
exactly to make the commitment really. And uh, and what shall I put here, because I don't want to say I'm not a metaverse expert, even because this is the Web3 is now, so how many
There's not
experts?
many metaverse
Exactly. So
experts.
I don't want to consider myself like that. I want to just I want to have commitment. I want to follow exploring it, but I want to be kind of recognized even by the community, by the LinkedIn community, that I'm something interesting in the topic, right? So that I can even engage other people about the same topic, right? And understand what the others are doing. And I was really into the trip coming from Rome, coming back to Switzerland. And I say, what shall I put there? And I say, yeah, maybe what you are doing, because you're really traveling to different worlds, maybe you should put you are an explorer really, because this is what you do. This is what you are even describing in your LinkedIn, exploration really. What you find here, what you find there, what is interesting here, what is interesting in that world in Decentraland better than in Sandbox. And yeah, I liked that so much that I said, okay, I want to put it on my LinkedIn profile. So maybe that is the right definition of what I'm doing in in my free time, or yeah, and what I'm really enjoying a lot, because I really every time that I join a new different world, I really enjoy it. I really um, feel like, okay, now what I'm going to discover here, what those guys are doing into this space, and yeah, that's why I chose this name, and it was really
And
like that.
yeah, and I think the word explorer is less offensive. If you call yourself an expert, somebody's gonna try to challenge that. There's always somebody who can complain, but if you say explorer, nobody can criticize that. I'm exploring. I'm an explorer, right? Nobody can. There's nothing negative about that.
Exactly, exactly. And also, I was just imagining, how many things there are behind the word expert, especially related to the metaverse, because behind the metaverse there are so many technologies involved. So you can be a VR metaverse expert because you know a lot of things about VR, about the technology behind the VR, how the VR is built. But then in the other side, there is the augmented reality metaverse that there is maybe, and this is really because I can say I'm not an expert, so maybe there are some other expertise behind the AR. And but then if we talk about like some other metaverses, like for instance Zepeto or I don't know, Roblox. There are even other expertise. You need to be able to build up a game. You need to know Unity. You need to know those kind of programming. So there are different kind of expertise behind the word metaverse. So it's being a metaverse expert is too generic. So and for me, being an explorer means really really enjoy the creativity of engineers that are building up spaces all around the world, really. So
So, speaking of AR, we had the Apple event a couple of days ago and no AR glasses.
yeah, but I don't know if you noticed at the end of the event there was a little, like 2 3 seconds, where they were like it was kind of an hologram or something.
They're always teasing. They love to
Yeah,
tease.
but
They've been doing that for how long?
but you know that this event they were putting this kind of hologram at the end when everything was, yeah, the event is finished. They put this hologram, but the event before they were putting into the homepage, if I'm not mistaken, there were some avatars, right? That they didn't say those are the Apple avatars, but there are some kind of avatars, I would say. But I see all the big brands like moving around. We see Microsoft with the HoloLenses. We see, I don't know, um, there is Meta that already say that they're going to release another kind of Oculus Pro in October, and I mean, and if you see what they are creating with this metaverse standard forum, where all the brands are trying to create some standards for the metaverse, you know, Apple is the only big brand not yet there. So it's curious, It's still and just keeping an eye all the time what the Apple is doing, because I think if Apple at some point will came with some glasses, this will be the time where maybe the mass adoption will be closer really to this, and it's just let's wait, let's see. I'm very curious about what Apple is doing really.
Okay. All right. Before we continue too far, let me ask you a question I ask everybody on this podcast. What is your definition of the metaverse in one sentence? Or is it possible to define the metaverse in one sentence?
I think so. What I think the metaverse is an extension of the real world into virtual worlds. Um, that's it for at the moment. I would say right now this is what I think is. Maybe in the future we can add another little word where we can say something like the metaverse is an extension of the real world into interconnected virtual worlds. So this
Love
is
that.
uh, this is what I think actually.
I like that. And I like the fact that you say extension rather than an alternative, right? Because it's not, you don't need to choose one or the other. It's an extension of the real world.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a different world.
I think also,
Is that how you
yeah,
see
yeah,
it?
exactly. And I think also we should add also in that sentence the word utility. Because metaverse, in my personal opinion, metaverse at some point need to be an utility for the real world. Because, the space need to be helpful, useful for something, for the education, for working, for building something, for the companies. So need to be really an utility. So so I think somewhere into this small phrase, this small sentence, somewhere in this small sentence, we should have this word utility, because it needs to be an utility. It doesn't have to be just because if not, we were playing games. So
Well, let's try it. So you said metaverse is an extension of the real world. So maybe we can have metaverse is an extension of the real world which can be utilized in order to what? what is it? What? How is it going to be utilized? What is the use of it?
Well, there are multiple there should be multiple uses in the real world. So
Give me a couple.
let's say, for instance, even for brands, I see now the fashion brands they are really pushing stuff into the metaverse, and um, you want to really use the space to do well. You have to use the space to do something that you cannot do in the real world, because
Oh,
it's if it doesn't make sense. If you're going to do in the virtual world something that you can do already in the real world, where is the utility? So yesterday, yeah, yesterday I was into an event. I was watching a video where they show what they were showing, like a basketball game with from the NBA in streaming into metaverse space, where you can go with your avatar, you can sit with your Oculus, and you can see the best player in the world, like 2 meters close to you, but they are playing somewhere else, and you are getting an access. You are very close to the field. This is something exclusive that you get if you want to watch a basketball game, into the stadium, for instance. So, I mean, this is another thing. Of course, it's not the same like going to the stadium and staying very close, but you're going to save thousands of dollars to watch an NBA game like 2 meters close to the best player of the world. But yeah, you are enjoying it maybe from the other side of the world. So that's another thing. Maybe that could be. Maybe it's not the same, but uh,
so can we try the metaverse is an extension of the real world, which allows increased capabilities, increased human capabilities.
yeah, that could be interesting. Yes, because in the metaverse you can fly, you are going to run, you
Yeah,
don't get
like you
tired.
said,
Yeah, of course.
things that you cannot do in the real world.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Things that you cannot do in the real world. Yeah, yeah, that's. I mean, if you're going to do in the metaverse what you can do in the real world, so what's the benefit of having an extended place to go? So that's what I think is important for the metaverse, for the future even, I think
That's
at some
fair.
point, the metaverse could be also something that potentially can help also the world to be a better place to live. I don't know.
Oh,
You can travel in space where you cannot travel never, because
you can only
only
dream of.
dream. Exactly. You can fly, and you only dream flying, and you can. Yeah, there are so many things that you can do that you cannot do in the real world, and even because sometimes you are scared about something, and maybe your glasses help you to fight against what you're scared. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that could be.
All right, let me
Um,
quickly go back to something you said earlier during your definition. You also said, I'm not sure if you used the word interoperability or
yeah,
interconnected
yeah,
metaverses. Um, yeah, what do you think about that? So today, most people say there might be 10, 15, 20 unconnected metaverse projects today,
right.
right? Um, what's what do you think is needed for mass adoption? Do all the metaverses need to connect? Does there need to be one metaverse? Can it be called a metaverse if it's not just one?
Right.
Because we only have one
Of
universe.
course. Of course. Of course.
As far as it concerns us, we're in one universe. So if we're going to say we're in the metaverse, we shouldn't be able to jump to another metaverse, because then it's not a metaverse. It's just
Yeah, yeah, correct.
we
Yeah, yeah. I like a definition that I found in a book recently, where where they define metaverse with uppercase M and metaverses with lowercase m.
I've thought a lot about
So
that.
that's one of the point that is very, very much related to this interconnected or interoperable words. So and also we have to think about the different of spaces that are out there. There are centralized metaverses, decentralized metaverses, and every kind of metaverse can be in VR, can be in AR, can be in you can access only via the desktop, and there are multiple way to access to that. So I feel that, at some point, all of these words need to talk between each other, need to use like a language that everybody can understand, I would say. So let's say if I'm in the Centerland, like experiencing something, but then there is a store, I don't know, in Spatial that has been built, or I want to visit a museum in Spatial because I was tired to go around in the Centerland, then I should do it like easily, bringing all my virtual identity with me, all my avatar. So something that is very hard at the moment is really, I need to create an avatar in each world where I go. And this is like not, I would say, not user friendly really. And also connect with my avatar. I have all my digital identity. I have my wallet connected with my digital, and maybe I'm investing money on wearing my avatar because it's something that people is starting doing really. Um, so I really want to bring with me all my stuff, all my digital assets, because um, why should I own digital assets if I can use them only in one word? This doesn't work, or if this works only in that word. So maybe and that word is going to be just a closed game where people can do only something into
Exactly.
that word.
And that is not, you cannot call that a metaverse. Or maybe you call that a metaverse with a small m, like you say. For me, the metaverse, it's like the internet. There's no other, like, I'm not going from this internet to another internet. I'm not talking to you on this internet. I'm not going to talk to somebody else on another internet. It's just the internet. The same way the metaverse does not exist today.
Like,
All these Decentraland, that's an online space. For me, it's not the metaverse until it's one. It's connected.
exactly, exactly. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I guess I would say and I guess still coming back to what I was mentioning, related to this metaverse standard forum. I really think that with having all of those metaverse builders, even Meta, Microsoft, all of those people there sitting together at the same table and say, okay, what we are going to do in order to make this metaverse with uppercase M, really. So uh, I think it will come. Maybe it will take time because, of course, find um, a common, point between all of the people is not easy. But I feel that um, even the blockchain technology is something that is going to help there because everything is transparent, is there, and that is going to be a good technology for the metaverse with the uppercase M, if you want. But yeah, I fully agree with you that this should be really everybody can build whatever they want with the technology that they want, but those words need to talk between each other at some point. So yeah,
And before we finish, we definitely need to talk about crypto because you're in Crypto Valley. So, talk to me about that. Like, how essential. I think there was an article recently about how crypto and metaverse need each other. What do you think about that? Is cryptocurrency an essential ingredient to making the metaverse usable?
Well, it's at the moment, maybe it's not, because as we said, metaverses are not interconnected, are not interoperable. But if the blockchain technology will become like more stronger, I would say, through all the different spaces, then at that point it is going to become um, yeah, important. I mean, let's say, for instance, Decentraland and Sandbox that are two of the major spaces, two of the major metaverses. They are both built on top of the Ethereum. So if you want to own stuff into those two metaverses, you need to
You need
you need
ether.
that. So um, and of course, as we were discussing, the blockchain technology that it can make the difference in some ways, especially because the for the transparency, because it allows to people to own things, for the ownership. You can own digital items into the space. And then when you for your virtual identity, when you start owning assets really and are going to sit into your wallet, you can go around the various spaces. You can access to special places. You can have special services in the virtual world and in the real world. So at that point, that will become very important for people to own digital assets and eventually to own digital coins like tokens. So yeah, I mean, it's as usual. I never give economical advice, first of all, because I'm not an economist, and so I don't do that. But I think that for the metaverse, and especially for the decentralized metaverses, if this is going to be completely decentralized at some point, this is something that we don't know yet. Um, it's going to be important because it allows us to own digital assets. That is the main revolution, really, with the Web3. Really, it's there. Where is actually the revolution of the web, of the internet, is because of the Web3. Is because of the blockchain technology, and there is where I see the most interesting projects. Of course, they are more complex because they need to put on top of it like a blockchain.
Yeah,
But
I, I know. Let me just, because we just skipped over it so quickly. The whole revolution, the main point, the main reason Web3 is different is it gives us the ability to own digital assets. Whereas previously, we couldn't own digital things. We couldn't own things like data, information. But with Web3, we can record, stamp ownership
yeah, yeah,
of digital assets.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's really when people will realize the big difference between Web 2 and Web 3, there is going to be the big change. Because, right now it's even difficult for people to jump into. There are a lot of steps to do. You have to download a wallet, you need to understand what a wallet is, um, you need to understand how to mint stuff here and there. You need to be careful with the scammers, and it's a bit complex if you want. But I guess that's, as you just said, there is where the revolution will be. So there is where we will see the big changes, really.
Mm.
Maybe even in the society. Who knows? So
So you're a very strong proponent of the metaverse. Let me ask you like a couple of questions just about your own journey. So when did you first come across this technology? When did you first get excited? Do you remember like the first moments when you first discovered this?
yeah, it was about like with the pandemic. I had to say that because I don't know if you recall when A virtual yacht was purchased per $650,000 in Sandbox. That was very catching my attention. I could spend like maybe $100 into something just to join a community, but uh, why somebody need to buy a virtual yacht into the space, and
Yeah.
there really that was basically the point where I was still I need to study
I
more.
need to learn
I
about
need to learn
this.
more because
I need to know what they see in
exactly,
this.
exactly. Why I need to join a virtual party into uh, Decentraland, for instance, how this can be so much fun and so much interesting for people. And that's
All right. I want to end with one question. Something that you said earlier. You said the metaverse could even make the world a better place, the real world a better place. How can it do that?
well, first of all, just imagine if people can travel less for work, maybe can travel less for reaching the offices. Just imagine how much you save, in terms of carbon.
But then, are you worried about less physical interaction?
Yeah, that's another point because it's and this is another point of the metaverse because it's right in the middle of Teams or of like some tools like I don't know, Zoom,
Zoom.
whatever, and the physical world, because you see something around, you had the feeling that you are closer to people, so you have more, you know.
Okay. So you see it as in between physical meeting and a regular
Yeah,
video
exactly.
call.
That could be, something you save more time because usually what you do, this is for working, but this is just an application. Maybe people can save a few things if you like. The pollution can be reduced, and because people are traveling. Um, this is one application, and you are in an environment that is more engaging than Zoom and Teams. So you are more you feel more the social presence, I would say, the social touch. And this is one thing, but and I think there was another interesting thing, that I found really this guy was talking about the history, to remember it. Now you go to the museum, now museums can be closer to people, and people can go into the museum. The
Education.
education, the education, but not just education, because you go you have a classroom into the metaverse. You can have a training into the metaverse. But let's say what happened in the past, you have to go to a museum
So you can experience education.
experience. Exactly, you can experience education.
Learn through
you know
experience.
that's that could be really very big step, for
That's huge.
that's imagine, uh, so how the little kid, the new generation, growing up with experiencing instead of reading, if you want.
Just
But
exactly.
this is going to be a different approach, really. So, but of course, I won't exchange a book with with anything, because for me a book is gold. So
Oh,
so and this is
interesting.
my personal feeling. Even if I'm all the time into the space, I like read. So it's
Great. Luca, thank you so much for your time. It was a fun chat.
yeah, for me the same. Thank you for the possibility to be here and talking about the metaverse.